Hey folks, Richard Tubb here, and I'm joined today by the lead architect of Giacom, Rob Hancock. How you doing, Rob?
Hi, Richard. I'm good, thanks. Good to be with you today.
Good to have you with us. So for anybody who's not familiar with Giacom, how would you describe what you do?
So the way that we like to describe ourselves is a customer-first cloud services distributor. So everything we're trying to do is all about working with our customer base, which are predominantly managed service providers or ITCs, as they like to be referred. And it's offering those SaaS-based products and services, but trying to make sure we're doing that in the most efficient and effective way. So everything we're trying to say is that, the SaaS-based market is really taking off, but equally at the same time, there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of change in margin around how you can operate in that space and be successful as a business. So everything we're trying to do is to make that, as I said, as efficient and effective as possible for our customer base, to focus on doing what they do best and serving their customers, and just having us there in the background supporting what they need us to be there for doing.
Very cool. And I know you've built a great reputation for yourself in the industry. I hear good things from MSPs about Giacom. So whatever you're doing, carry on doing it. I've got to ask though, lead architect, very cool sounding title. What is a lead architect, and what does a typical day entail for you as lead architect?
Yeah, so it's definitely an exciting role for me. It was first role or first position in this role at Giacom, so I'd obviously carry a lot of weight with coming in, kind of been the first in that role 2.5 years ago now, and we've grown a lot from then. We've transformed as a business. Giacom's had a lot of success over the last 4 or 5 years, and I've been fortunate to be part of that journey for part of that now. And when I first started, we probably had one software development team that was focused on delivering software for the cloud market and iterating through to that, and we're now up to 4 teams working through an agile methodology. So we've got 4 scrum teams that are delivering functionality sprint by sprint, and trying to really accelerate, enhance, and keep at pace with what our customers need, and to stay on that front foot in what we're doing. So day to day, it's transformed a lot, going from 1 team to 4 teams. I've got a lot more to do now, a lot more to think about, but for me, that's really exciting because that just means we can work at a faster pace. So everything we're trying to do now is pushing around cloud services. So kind of, what we talk about with our customers and what we serve them for around cloud adoption, around using cloud compute and those kind of services. We're trying to embrace that ourselves. So we're really going all in and around using Azure to actually how we offer our distributor platform, Cloud Market. So we're moving towards the cloud with that. And leveraging those capabilities ourselves. We think, one, that's just the way technology is going. That's what we should be doing. But we think it really helps us to talk passionately and to be able to talk from experience when we're working with our customers. Of when they're thinking the same thing of how do we go from on-prem to cloud, well, we can talk about that same journey, that same experience, because we're living and breathing it.
Yeah, it sounds like you enjoy your job as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've got to ask, we mentioned IT solution providers. I've talked about managed service providers, but we've seen this new acronym that's sort of come along in the past couple of years or so, cloud solution provider or cloud service provider. How would you describe what that looks like with the type of businesses that you work with?
So CSP, I think we've kind of, what we've seen is a shift, I think, where a lot of these cloud solution providers now are looking at what they were doing traditionally years ago, which was installing kit on premise, managing those services directly, usually by spending time on site, and are really now looking at, well, there's a different way of working. And, there's a lot of lead in the technology, Microsoft example, which is saying you don't need to necessarily do all of that yourself. That was a model that worked previously, but with the power of public cloud and compute and SaaS-based services, there's a different way you can kind of deliver those services at scale and probably at a faster cadence than you could do previously. And I think a lot of our customers are really seeing and embracing that and are looking forward to saying, that's the way, that's the next transformation of IT services and how we can kind of serve our customers to a better level. There's no way that an ITC or an MSP traditionally could have, been going week on week delivering software updates for Office and other applications, but with the world of SaaS, once you've configured for that, it's all online. Your customers can naturally see the benefit of that. And so that you can focus on driving more best practices and more services to your customers as opposed to just patching and maintaining what's already there. So I think it gives a different opportunity, but actually allow us, especially for techies like myself, to just do more, because you've got more time to focus on the things that you'd rather be doing rather than just that service and maintenance.
That makes sense. And I'm a fellow techie as well. I might go as far as to call myself a geek there. I would never suggest that you are. But so you've already mentioned Microsoft 365, Office 365. You mentioned Azure as well, which is a huge growth market, isn't it? Can you give us an insight into some of the other sort of products and solutions that you're seeing taking off at the moment that Giacom offer?
Yeah, so certainly things we're looking at the moment is, with the adoption of Teams and really seeing that accelerated growth over the last few years, we're now seeing that demand for a hosted device. So again, how can we get more of an integrated solution, an integrated service? So, especially with the current climate as we are at the moment in these still unusual times or different times now, a lot of people are in an office, so they haven't got that physical phone in the office that they've normally have based at their desk. So that direct routed voice solution around Microsoft Teams is something that we've seen come through a lot. And we've recently partnered with Gamma to provide a different offering to that hosted service. And again, provide that opportunity for our customer base. And again, us trying to just do something different and to try and help enable our customers. We've seen that opportunity and worked hard with Gamma to introduce that. Equally, people are now working from home. So you've got to think about the context, the environment of where working, how they're connecting through to your systems. So, it's ever more critical to be more conscious around that potential of threat to your organization. So we've recently just also brought on a new product called USecure, which is trying to help develop some training solutions for your end users that work in your end customers to be aware of kind of that potential threat and that risk, and to help identify that and train and coach them through that. That's been one interesting where we kind of put that into the market. And I think just again, down to the climate, we've seen some really good uptake and traction in that. So we're always looking for that opportunity to not just focus on that one particular product or service, but how can we enhance and enrich that further to provide, to address all of the concerns or all of the needs that you might need from using those kind of services, and not just think about that one particular thing, but how can we, expand and enrich?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, the CSP side of things, cloud services, of course, we mentioned there's like dozens of services now that a CSP could offer to the clients. But one area I find that every CSP, MSP, IT solution provider usually has a grumble about is the provisioning and being efficient with the provision and delivery. And I've got to say, Rob, I've heard rave reviews about Giacom and the onboarding, the provisioning that you can do for people. Would you be able to give us a quick glimpse at the portal and perhaps show us what that looks like in practice?
Yeah, absolutely, Richard.
If you want to share the screen.
What we've got here, Richard, is the Cloud Market Dashboard. So this is a view that you would see as an ITC or an MSP. As a customer of ours coming into Cloud Market, this is the kind of the first view you get. So on here on the homepage, we kind of give you what we call these widgets with some brief information into your organization. So what your last invoice was, your current estimate for your next bill, and then a summary of kind of services you've viewed recently and customers you've viewed. So you've got a quick action to jump into that. What we've also, you can see here, is that this is kind of our out of the box branding. But one thing that our customers do definitely like to do is straight away is, change the logo to be their own, and then to also use their company branding. So being able to apply that personal touch is very important to a lot of our customers. It's very rare that I see a customer who's not branding it to their kind of themes and their corporate branding. So that seems to be one of the first things we see as part of onboarding. And then the next thing really is getting into how do we get to the orders. So going to the order section, which is just one way you can kind of start to facilitate that process of ordering something. We go through to here and you can see the full catalog of everything we offer. You can then break that down into discrete areas of how we've grouped those offerings. So we have products and services that, we've got a number of email security offerings and backup offerings. So again, those are grouped together so you can see through into those. But the critical point that I think for me is really important is that for all of the products we offer, we have an API first approach in how we provision those services. So there's no kind of person in the middle. When you place an order, it goes straight from our platform to the vendor. And then within minutes, you should be able to start using that vendor portal. And that's something that we really hold and put front and center of everything we do. We're really passionate about making sure we have that seamless integration. And again, talking about reducing that friction and enabling our customers to get to what they want to be doing as quickly as possible. you've got to have those API integrations in at those points, because otherwise you start putting people in the mix, things are going to take a little bit longer. Things are not going to go right. So
as soon as you put human beings into the mix, things get complicated.
Exactly. So, let's go through for one of our kind of key services that we've got, which is M365, and we'll go through and add that. So let's do a demo, and we'll do that as a new customer. And really the point to show here is just what we've tried to do to make sure, whether it's an existing order or a new order, that again, we make sure that we take that responsibility for capturing everything we need to place that order immediately. Crucially, what we also do is make sure that we only ask you the questions when we need to. Right. So you won't see us always asking the same questions over and over again. We'll remember those. We will obviously store those securely and safely. And then we will obviously, for future orders for those customers, we'll just go ahead and allow you to place those adjustments. So if it was a licensed product like Microsoft, once you place this first order, you're just going through making those changes through the month. Right. And you're not
so enter the data once and use it many times.
Exactly. So this is kind of our newer journey. That is a way that we're building into. So there's the different split of how we show our journeys, but this is our newer generation of how we show products. And the idea here is that you can see the list of services that are offered that product. You can search from it. You can expand it if you want to. You also get the basket. So as you're adding things, it's building that out and it's building the basket through to you. We provide related content as you're going through. So if you've got questions, if you want to know more, we do offer a number of services around content. So we have a knowledge base, we have a community, and then we have our marketing sites as well. So we're not only just looking at, providing those products and services and allowing you to say that. If you want more awareness, more understanding, we try to have that on hand as well. And then one thing we've also started to do, which is to provide the opportunity that, a lot of our customers are saying, I'm not just coming to Giacom now to buy an M365 license. I am thinking about security. I'm thinking about backup. I'm thinking about those productivity products. And what I don't want to do is go into those journeys multiple times to complete the order. I want to go in and say, right, if I'm using Vade for my email security, then I want to order that at the same point I'm ordering my M365 licenses. So that's something again that we've incorporated into that, so you can do that if you so want to, or if not, you can move on.
Yeah, and this is forgive me for interrupting, Rob, because I think this is such an important area for MSPs, especially where they can add value and differentiate themselves from other people, rather than just offering the vanilla 365 service. They can put add-ons there that's going to lower their cost of support as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And one thing we're looking at from a techie point to enable that is to just say, right, we as a business, Giacom, offer a number of products from different vendors. And how can we surface that in a way that makes the most sense to our customers? And in some cases that might vary and differ, but if we can provide that flexibility and reduce that friction, those fixed points of where we think it needs to be, and just say we can adapt and change, that's where we want to be. We want to be there to support our customers in the best way possible, and that isn't always a one size fits all. So we're trying to be more conscious of that and think about what that means when we're offering these things.
Very cool.
So the next bit it's going to do is we kind of go from order to what I call fulfillment. So this is where it's going to ask those questions, and it'll only ask the questions it needs to for the point of order. And it will determine that dependent on whether it's the first order for a customer or whether it's the second order, and then it will change those questions.
Got it.
We also do things, especially with Microsoft, where we will call out here and actually validate that, agreements have been signed with Microsoft and everything's in place. So what we're always trying to guarantee is that highest chance possibility of success rate of the order going through first time without any intervention. That's what we aspire to do, is that, as close as we can, every order's going through without anyone having to get in the way, whether that's the customer having to raise a ticket.
Yeah,
exactly. An important one that we're putting at the moment is just around Microsoft Partner Agreement, for example. So as I'm filling this in, I'll just kind of say that we're putting a banner at the moment, which is we're not blocking orders, but Microsoft are currently in the rollout of defining a new agreement, which all of the indirect resellers need to have signed. That was meant to be enforced now already, but they've been a little bit relaxed around that enforcement. So we're not blocking orders because, again, we don't want to get in the way, but reminding you at some point the order may fail, and that's down to Microsoft enforcing something. So it's one to watch out for. If you're a customer of Giacom and you're seeing that message, then there's a suggestion there that I definitely recommend referring to our knowledge base and just looking at, have you done everything you need to make sure you've signed those agreements with Microsoft. Okay. It's one of those, it's out of our control. So this one is actually going through. So this is an experience of, I've created a new customer. I'm saying they don't even have a tenant in Microsoft yet. So it's allowing me to go through that full process of signing the relevant agreements, creating that tenant for the first time, and it's going to validate all of that as we're going through. So what it's doing there, checking is, while there's a little pause while it's going through to that, is it's just checking that tenant is available in Microsoft directly. Again, the last thing we want to do is allow you to think you can have a tenant name with a domain prefix, which actually is already in use. That's the worst thing you want to have. So that's gone through, checked everything there, all done. So
nice. That was probably less than 30 seconds from clicking continue to getting it fulfilled. So
yeah. And then at that point, again, it'll just give you some more information about what you need to do in the particular vendor portal. So in this case, Microsoft, how you can then start processing that order through in terms of provision of that tenant and managing that through. We send out a few emails to help you get set up. But after that, you're good to go. That's it. You should be over to the Microsoft portals and provisioning through Office and running that tenant and assigning those licenses to users.
Very cool. So we've gone through like a greenfield site there, a brand new customer. What about the scenario that lots of MSPs are going to face where perhaps they've got migrations? So people have already got maybe Office 365, Microsoft 365, other services. How can you help them sort of migrate in from other providers and other clients?
Yeah, so at the minute, Richard, it's kind of a ticket-led approach. So the idea here is that our customers, once they're onboarded, can go through to the support area and raise a ticket. So it's not something we have self-serve capabilities for at the moment. It's definitely something that we're very much conscious of and aware of doing that and providing that. So at the moment, it's you raise a ticket with ourselves, and then our tech support team have tools internally at the moment that can help facilitate those migrations to bring you on board. And once we've done that, so there's a little bit of, toing and froing to kind of make sure we've agreed everything with the vendors and that's been allowed and we've got the right requests to do that. But then once that's all completed, you'll be in Cloud Market and it'd be just like you'd order it through Cloud Market. You could then manage it, see it, control it in the same way you had to. But yeah, just because it's a migration and every vendor's got a different process for how they move from one partner to another, we have that process internally at the moment.
Yeah. But the key point is you're doing the heavy lifting for the MSP. They don't have to handle all of that migration process.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we're trying to facilitate all of that so that they don't have to worry about it. And then all they have to then focus on is in Cloud Market and they can carry on.
I like that. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Rob. Another area that I find CSPs, MSPs have all manner of headaches with is the billing side of things. Obviously, you are reselling services from a third party to your clients and that. Can you give us an insight into how you might be able to help MSPs do billing better?
Yeah, so one thing we pride ourselves, which we've always had as a long-standing thing, is the way that we bill our customers. So we bill once a month, which is on the 27th. And what we do is we make sure that for everything you've used with us as Giacom, all of those products and services, whether it's M365, Azure, Cronus, Gamma, USecure, you'll receive one invoice from us with a total cost for all of those products and services. And then what we'll also do as part of that invoice is we'll provide you something we call a post bill, which will actually break down the spend of what you've actually used with each end customer. So you can see that granularity. So you're not just going to get a one page that says, you owe us £2,000. Thank you very much. Due by whatever date that may be in the future. We'll actually show you that breakdown of what you've used at a customer level and give you that detailed report. So that's been really a real positive experience, and we always get good compliments and feedback around that. But it's still, as I said, it's a paper form. Mm-hmm. So, what we've then said is, well, actually, how can we take the data? We've already had that data and we've just been serving that as a PDF. How can we now change that so we can automatically allow our customers to tap into that same data and use that to forward on into their systems? Because that's ultimately what they're doing with it when we send that PDF. So we've just said, right, if we've taken an API approach for everything we do with our vendors, why can't we take an API integrated approach to connect with our customer systems? So PSA is an area that we've been working on for a while now. and I continue to work on and spending more time and effort in saying, how can we take that data that originates in that bill once a month and move those changes automatically into those PSA systems? So
very cool. Yeah. So most people watching this video, or lots of people watching this video, MSPs are going to be using Autotask, ConnectWise, PSA tools, professional service automation tools like that. So you've got integration in place, and that's going to grow, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we integrate with Autotask and ConnectWise today. We're always interested in other PSAs. So one thing we've introduced recently is a customer profiling tool. So the first time you join us on Cloud Market, we will ask some questions, and we would always ask that you take the time to answer those, because it's not just to know more about you as a customer, it's to know more about what we can be offering. Yeah. And some of the key points we ask there is, what PSAs are you using? And what we're trying to do there is work out demand and interest to onboard other PSAs. But Autotask and ConnectWise are there. We've done that to a point that you can match your customers, you can match your services, and then you can see reports showing the variance between the two systems. And then we've also started to introduce write-back functions. So the MSP can actually review that data, review those changes, and then surface that through into their PSA automatically through Cloud Market.
So we talked about PSA integration, Rob. Is there any chance you could show us what it looks like? Because I know there's lots of people are going to want to see what that looks like in real life.
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. So the first thing we've got here is configuring the PSA. So if you go into the settings area in Cloud Market, there's just going to be some quick questions around, do you want to enable PSA? Which, if you're here at this point, the answer is probably yes.
Yes.
Which PSA you're using. So at the minute, as we said, it's Autotask or ConnectWise. And then it'll ask you for the relevant API credentials to store on our side, so we can start connecting Cloud Market with your PSA. So in this case, I've already done it, and I've set it to Autotask. Once you've done that, you just jump over to the billing area, and you'll see a new PSA tab appear. And from here, what this will start to do is it'll basically go through the process of saying, right, how do we connect your customers and your services between the two systems? And one thing we try to do is auto match them. So if you're using the same naming convention across both, it will try and help reduce that effort, so you're not clicking through and doing everything. So in this case, it always goes to not matched as well. That's an intentional thing, because it's trying to say, these are the things that have changed since the last time you came in. So this is like your call to action. And then, but you can obviously then respectively check which customers and services you've matched. So in this case, we've only matched one of our customers and one of our services so far. It won't run at the moment just because we haven't got the billing data for this account. But what you would then start to see here returning through is the movement that's occurred in the period of your last bill. So what that would show is those prorated changes that have occurred in the month that you just received your bill from. So it would show that change on a day-by-day basis of that license movement, and then would give you that ability to write back that function. Brilliant. But another way you can always do it, and I say it's the best way to start when you're looking at a PSA, is to use our reconciliation report, because what that'll give you an immediate insight into is what is the quantity, the current total quantity in Cloud Market versus the current total quantity in your PSA.
Okay, so that's like a sanity check for when you first get started.
Yeah, it's almost, you want to use that as a bit of a guide to say, have I got any big differences in what both systems are reporting? And that might be an indication to say where things haven't been married up previously, when you've been trying to auto correct that through that paper bill and surfacing that through.
Yeah.
So if we went to Arnold legal services, again, what you'll see here is actually in this case, we've zeroed off the quantity in Cloud Market. So they're saying that there's no services active, but there's still one recorded in the PSA. In this case, Autotask, and it's giving you the variance.
Got it.
And then, yeah, the idea there is from that right through to get that alignment, and then those month-on-month changes, you should just be able to go to that actions area, make sure you've matched everything, and start pushing those through.
Yeah, and this is going to be a killer feature for plenty of MSPs watching this, because so much money just gets leaked through, like the sieved through, because people aren't keeping track of what they're selling, or sometimes worse, overselling to the customer, and the customer says, hey, we don't use that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And we hear that quite a lot, and that's why we feel PSA is quite important. That bill, receiving that bill and making sure that it correlates completely correctly, 100%, every month on month is really important for our customers, and it's important for us to get that right. So That's why we're looking to bring this integration through and develop this PSA integration, not only with Autotask and ConnectWise, with other PSAs over time. Another way we've kind of looked at this as well, Richard, that we're also looking to develop over the next 6 to 12 months is that, we can provide a lot of pre-built integrations, and that definitely helps accelerate that process. But in some cases, we can't cater for everyone's needs. So that API integration we talked about with vendors, when we do that, we're now starting to say, actually, we should be taking responsibility and providing APIs ourselves that our customers can use to pull the billing data out, to place an order. So if they don't want to go to Cloud Market every month or every day to make that license change, and they want to integrate it with their own in-house system or a system they're using, they've got that capability and flexibility to do that. And that's another way we're thinking, is that there isn't a one size fits all, and we should be providing as many opportunities for people to integrate and operate with Giacom as possible and work in the way that suits them best. So as I said, what we're going to see over the next 6 to 12 months is more pre-built integrations that are outward facing, that integrate with customer systems, but more opportunity for our customers to leverage APIs themselves that interface with Cloud Market, and then they can, let them see what they can do. And I'm sure we'll learn from that. There'll be lots of great ideas that come through that we've not even thought of. And I think the position there for us is we can then look at that and say, well, if that's a great idea, is that something we bring into Cloud Market, and build up a bit of a community around what we can be doing and leveraging this platform for.
Yeah, I love it. And I can see Giacom becoming almost like the glue that sticks these varying services together. So I think it's a smart approach from your part. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. I picked up on something at the top of the screen there, Academy and support. We've already looked at support a little bit, but obviously you offer so many solutions and services. MSPs are going to need a little bit of handhold and a little bit of help understanding how to position those and sell those to clients and how to support them as well. Tell us how you support MSPs with that sort of journey.
Yeah, so the Academy, I can click into that one and probably show you a little bit around what we do there, Richard. So
yeah, please.
As it says there, it's free rebrandable marketing materials. So for every product, every service we offer, we provide some pre-canned marketing materials so that you don't have to worry about doing that yourselves. You can click into any of these and just download those. So our marketing team spend a lot of time making sure that these are on point, on the mark in terms of the messaging and communication. So they work a lot with our product team as well, our product managers who own these respective products, to make sure we're hitting the mark through to that. The other thing that we offer, which is on a request basis at the moment, but we are looking to change that to make it more self-serve again, is that if you want those to be branded to your company, your corporate branding as a company, then we can do that on a request basis. And what our marketing team will do at the moment is they will provide that same content, but branded up with your own logo, your own images and themes around that. So that's another service that we do find a lot of customers really appreciate, because it just adds that personal touch again. And that's, as I said, something that we take a lot of pride in doing, is providing that personal touch. Obviously, it becomes harder as you get bigger, but it's something that we challenge ourselves to kind of keep there. And it's always at the forefront of our minds.
Yeah, I like it. And I know Kate and the team in your marketing team do a really good job there. So I can see why so many MSPs are getting impressed with this. So, people are going to be watching this. There's going to be some Giacom existing customers, clients watching this. There's going to be other people that Giacom is completely new to. So I'm going to ask the question that's going to be on their minds at the moment if they're impressed. What does it look like in terms of contract lengths, and what does it cost to become a Giacom partner?
Yeah, so the way that we call it internally, and I'm sure we do externally as well, is that we have an easy on and easy off approach in how you actually onboard into Cloud Market. So if you're interested in joining us, the first thing I'd say is go to cloudmarket.com. From there, you can learn all about what we are as a business, our values, what we offer. And then there's also a contact form to register interest. What will then happen is someone from our customer success team will reach out to you, and then they, if you want to, can talk you through the process of onboarding. So we don't do any credit checks, any kind of long process. It's simply as on the phone, we can walk you through and actually onboard you. And within, half an hour of going through that process and that call, you can have an account, be logged into Cloud Market and doing what I just did, which was purchasing your first order for a product, whether that be M365 or one of the many other products we offer in Cloud Market. And it's easy as that. And then from that point, you've then got the decision of how you want to pay with us. And we offer 3 payment methods, which is a direct debit, a credit card, or a bank transfer.
Got it. And is there any cost for partnership?
No cost whatsoever.
Right. So all of this is provided free for gratis for partners.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And we take a lot of pride in doing that and making sure that everything we offer, we can offer a competitive rate, which is free at the moment. And we try to stick to that value of doing that, and doing that because we want to do a better job for our customers, and not doing that by, trying to introduce payment profiles of, you get gold, silver, bronze, or anything around that. We want to treat everyone equally, and hopefully they can all see the benefit.
I love it. I love it, Rob. Well, thank you for spending the time showing me around today. I can see why so many people are impressed. And I've been wanting to pin you down and get this demo for a little while now, because people talk to me about Giacom MSPs and they rave about your services and speak very, very highly of you. So keep doing what you are doing. It's really appreciated in the community. And for anybody watching this who wants to perhaps reach out and continue the conversation with you directly, how can they get hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm available on LinkedIn. So if you just search Rob Hancock, Giacom, you're going to find me on there. If not, rob.hancock@giacom.com. You can always catch me via email through that. They're probably the 2 best methods to get hold of me.
Super. Rob, I can see this is moving at a pace. So I'll put you on the spot again. Can we get you back in sort of 6-12 months and see how things have progressed?
Yeah, absolutely, Richard. We've got some exciting things lined up for the next 12 months internally. We've got a good, strong roadmap building out at the moment. So it would be great to show what we've done and how we've transformed again. Fantastic. In 6 to 12 months.
Thank you so much for your time today, Rob. Really appreciate it.